Hey folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. It's pretty awful weather out there, so if you hear a whole lot of noise out and about, that's just, there's a bit of a storm. Hope everybody's doing well. Currently in the middle of We Will Rock You. We've had Thursday, Friday, 2 on Saturday. We've had 4 shows so far, so today is show number 5. So that's kind of why I was doing the live stream a little earlier than I usually would, which is all good. It's it's been going well actually. It's a good show. It's really fun getting to play those songs. There's some great Queen tunes, you know. Really, a couple of them surprising that I've enjoyed more than I thought I would, but you know. That's a load of fun to play. Hammered Fall. Hopefully you're hearing everything okay. Yeah, so it's been lots of fun doing the show. It's yeah, the band's good, really good band. We've had good audiences. Surprisingly, I come out the end and I do the solo for Bohemian Rhapsody, and the audience just goes nuts at that point. And I've had a few people give me feedback, and generally what they say is that they know the band's live and they can see it there, but it's sort of just something that's happening in the background, you know, and they're hearing the music because it's a big part of that stuff. But it's not until I come out and play that moment that they go, oh yeah, that's like people actually making that music in front of them. You know what I mean? It sort of brings the whole thing in a different perspective in it all. So, yeah, the interesting thing too is I kind of changed picks. I've been using these for ages, for a while now, which are ones that I had custom made for me, which actually work out cheaper to do so. This is a very worn one, but they're basically Jim Dunlop 1.14 type picks, you know, a little over a millimeter. I've been using these for a while. I really like them for playing rhythm guitar, but last night I seemed to just I don't know why, I just had during the day yesterday, the matinee show, I just thought, I wonder what happens if I play a Jazz 3 again. And so I grabbed out the Jazz 3 XL, which I've been using for a while. I used to use these all the time. And then last year there was a shortage of these. You couldn't get them. And I was down to like my last 1 or 2, and they were getting really worn out. And I was like, I got sick of it, so that's why I switched. But they're back in New Zealand now, luckily. But yeah, cheers Steve-O. Yeah, cheers Steve-O. Yeah, so they're back in stock, and then I grabbed one yesterday and tried the matinee on it, and I realized how much better my picking is. My picking's way better with the with the pointier pick, and I kind of thought that one of the big things is kind of the rhythm guitar. Is it going to affect that? You know, feels pretty good still. These Dunlop XLs they're made of like a nylon type material. They're not really plasticky sounding. Like I said, these are what I've been using for a while. I think I prefer that in terms of a rhythm guitar thing, but this is far superior for the lead playing, and so I think I'm just going to go back to Jazz 3 XLs for a little while. Steve-O says, been wanting to try Fat Boy picks. I don't know Fat Boy picks, I haven't tried them. The ones I've been wanting to try for a while are Hawk picks. I haven't tried those. I reckon I know a lot of players who really dig the Hawk picks. And I'm thinking maybe there's something in there. Maybe that's something I should investigate. I don't think you can get them here in New Zealand, so I'd have to order them or something. I've tried a lot of different picks over the years. V-picks, I had a bunch of V-picks. Those are really cool. I found the thing I found with V-picks is they suit someone who needs a bit more clarity, and I tend to prefer a lot more warmth, but they're really good. What else have I tried? Red Bears. I don't know if you guys have tried Red Bear pickups. I think they're pretty damn good. Yeah, I've tried most things. But just, again, I've gone back to the Jazz 3 XLs. I don't like the smaller Jazz 3s. I find they're too easy to lose, or they just slip in your fingers a little bit. The XLs have the bigger writing, seems to grip better. There is, of course, the black version of these. The only problem with a black pick, you drop it and it's gone. And sometimes I only have one pick on me. Maybe there's another in my pocket somewhere or in a case or whatever. But I don't, you know, I don't want to drop it if I can help it. You know what I mean? I want to be able to just grab the pick and keep going. So red pick's the way to go. So Steve says he recommends Googling Fat Boy. Okay, y'all check him out for sure. Thanks for the recommendation, dude. I'm always looking for new picks, aren't we all? Corey Christiansen, when he was out here, had some picks that were ones I hadn't seen before, and I tried a couple of them. It says depends on your style, but they're fat, like 6 times fatter than jazz picks. Okay, they're probably not going to be me then. I've tried a couple of like really heavy, thick picks, and they just don't work for me. I do like thick, heavy picks though on a gypsy guitar, on my gypsy jazz guitar, which is over there. You know, the thick, big, round pick. What I find with those on a gypsy guitar is you get a lot more volume, because on a gypsy guitar that's what you want. You want volume, and the reason you want volume is you're just not hitting the string. Okay, I see. Yeah, I'll check them out. But on gypsy guitar you want volume, right? Because the whole thing is you're playing this acoustic instrument, you're trying to get it to project. On electric guitar I don't necessarily need that. If I want more volume I'll turn up rather than my pick. But I'll check them out for sure. I thought I'd start. This is a track called From Now You Shed backing tracks, jam tracks. It says Spacey Soul Funk Jam, guitar backing track in C minor. I don't know what it is, 87 beats per minute. That's kind of interesting, an interesting tempo. Thought I'd play the Telecaster today, just because I have it here. A lot of my gear's in the theatre. So at the moment I'm using the Fractal FM9 at home. I like it because it has a good looper in it, so it's good for at home. And the Telecaster, and that's all you're hearing, just direct in as always. In the theatre I'm using the FM3, and I'm using a dude pedal as my main kind of lead-ish rhythm guitar tone is the dude, and then I have a OCD version 1.6 for the more Marshall-esque type sounds, and then I have a Cusack Screamer, which I'm only using for one song, which is Crazy Little Thing Called Love, because I wanted a very radically different sound, and I should pull the coil tap for that one. And then I have a wah-wah. I did think about setting up an expression pedal and doing wah-wah that way, but it's just as easy to use a real wah-wah pedal, so just did that. And then an OC2, which actually surprisingly I'm using quite a bit. There was a couple of things where the MD, Zach, wanted like really heavy kind of things, so just throw the octave pedal on, all of a sudden it's really chunky. There's also some parts where there's guitar harmonies with the other guitar player, and it who's really good too, by the way. Tom sounds great. And so I had my harmony part, Tom had his, and if I put the octave pedal, now we go the third part below. Granted, it's not a different part from my part, but that's making some of the harmony parts sound fuller, which has been fun. Anyway, this is Spacey Soul Funk Jam in C minor. I don't know what the track is, we'll see. Oh yeah. That's enough of that. That's a little bit too smooth for my kind of taste. It's kind of interesting though. It's always nice to put a track on and just kind of hear your way through it. This has got a little bit of it is giving you the chord symbol, but it's kind of giving you the chord symbol almost a little too late. But I mean, they're pretty predictable, right? I kind of knew it was going to go to the 4 chord, right? Up to we're in C minor, so it's going to go to the 4 chord. It's going to link back to the 5 chord. At some point it was going to go to the relative major. Did all of those kind of textbook things, which is all good, right? Those are, it's a funny thing about predictability in music that a lot of people, that's what they want, right? Any questions, anything you guys want to know? If you've just joined me, please like the video, all that stuff helps. And if you have any questions, stuff you want to know, let me know. I'm here for you today to play guitar and to answer questions and do all that. I think last I looked, I was 1 subscriber away from 13,000. So anyone who knows me knows I don't really care about numbers. Should be obvious. My YouTube channel is not like, you know, Rick Beato in terms of numbers or anything like that. But I don't really care about that, to be honest. I care about people who want to be involved with what I'm doing. Mass appeal isn't really what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy kind of talking about topics that I know about. I don't cover things I don't know about. I've been asked before, you know, can you do videos on heavy metal and stuff? And I'm like, I don't really, there's people who are experts at that. Leave it to the experts, and I kind of just do what I do, right? But thanks so much to you all for watching. That's why I do this, because people are into it. Like I said, it's not about numbers. It's about people. You know, I've had messages from people telling me that it's. I had a message from a guy the other day. I heard his playing and he sounded amazing. It was on Leon Todd's Facebook, Instagram page, one of those. And if you guys know Leon Todd, amazing Australian guitar player. And I checked out the student, and I was like, it looks familiar. So I, you know, I started following his page and stuff, and he followed me back, and then we had a bit of a conversation. And then I was like, oh, that's it, right? That's right. That's that guy from Instagram. Sorry, from Facebook. So we connected on Instagram, but I already knew him from Facebook. But he said that my YouTube channel got him through his uni stuff, because it was like that whole thing, you know, universities can be a kind of a challenging time for some people. But I was like, man, that was amazing, you know, to hear that. It was like, that's why I do this stuff. So Steve asked, how long have you been playing? Too long. I started playing when I was 10 years old, and I'm 45 now. So that's 35 years at playing guitar. Have I done that right? 10, 45? Yeah. 35 years. And before that I played piano for 5 years. So I actually started playing music when I was 5, and I played keyboard. I kind of mess around with the keyboard. I remember one of the things I was most stoked about that I learned how to play was that Axel Foley theme from Beverly Hills Cop, because that was the era, right? And as soon as I could play that on the keyboard, and my keyboard was like a little Casio, which is probably collectible now, and I put little stickers with all the notes, so I knew this was C, this was D, so on and so on. It's kind of cute when you think about it now. Yeah, I learned how to do that, and like as soon as I could play something that I recognized off a movie, off TV and whatever, I was like, wow. You know, because when I was a very little kid, we didn't have TV. Like TVs weren't really that common. And then maybe when I was about 7 or 8, something like that, we got a TV, and I was like, wow, TV, you know what I mean? But I knew that Axel Foley thing, right? And being able to play that on my keyboard was awesome. And then when I was about 10, I switched to playing guitar. And that's all I've ever done since. And to be honest, when I played keyboard, I really wanted to play guitar anyway. I kind of thought guitar was the coolest instrument in the world. To me, it was like, especially that era. I was born in 78, so really my childhood was the 80s. My teenage years were the 90s. So the 80s in particular was full of guitar music. There was lots of it around. Bon Jovi and all kinds of bands that were, the hair metal, hair rock thing was still, glam rock, whatever you want to call it, was still pretty much a thing. So yeah, that was me. But it's taken lots of different turns. I started off kind of learning some sort of classical guitar type stuff, and then I kind of was really into blues guitar, Stevie Ray Vaughan and things like that. And then I got right into jazz stuff, and I'm still really heavily involved in jazz stuff. But I've always kind of played rock. I've always loved Brian May. I think Brian May is one of the greatest guitar players to walk the planet, along with David Gilmour. I mean, anyone who goes and makes a statement like that. Let's see if I can. It's not really the right sound. That's close enough. No. I mean, that to me is just a statement, right? It's simple but powerful, right? B, F, G, E. Kind of interesting to use that voicing. I remember when I first learned, see how much I can remember. Right, brilliant guitar playing, just one of the most melodic mofos on the planet, David Gilmour. So I love his playing. So kind of went through a phase of that, and I still do. I was listening to Dark Side of the Moon yesterday on the drive home from the gig. I try when I'm doing these shows to not listen to the music that we're doing once we're into the run of the show. Because the risk is, like, if I listen to Queen, I might hear something there and go, that's what I should do at that point. That's a bad idea. I think once you're in the show run, consistency is the thing. Because you don't know what's going on stage. There may be some actor that's going from this point to this point, and maybe they're listening for a very specific guitar thing that tells them to go from there to there. So you change anything and you might screw them up. So I'm like, once we're into the show run, the homework's done, I'm going. So I don't listen to the stuff at that point. So trying desperately not to listen to any Queen. Although, what I notice is all the bars that along the main road, Courtney Place in Wellington, a lot of them are playing Queen music when I'm coming out, I guess because they know that We'll Rock You is on. Trying to get the punters who are coming out of We'll Rock You to go into their bars. But I heard one bar playing Somebody to Love, and then another bar, like maybe 5 shops down, was playing Somebody to Love, but there were different points in the song. And the crazy thing was, as I was walking down, when I got in the middle, I could hear them both a bit at different points, and it was just like cacophony, And that's a cool sound. I really like that sound. That's actually the main amp that I'm using in here, which is just talked about it before, the Fender Vibrato Lux and the Fractal FM9. Just direct. But for the boost sound, instead of what I do is actually just turn the gain up on the virtual amp. You can hear it kind of breaking up in the low end like a real amp would when you crank it. It's that kind of... That's just the amp on 9 or 10. But I balance the output level to kind of bring it so it's not too far away from my clean sound. And then, of course, if you want it to be clean, you just turn your volume down. I've actually been doing that a lot on the show. I'm kind of writing my volume control because on the DGT it has a resistor capacitor network, some kind of thing that it's not a full coil tap. It's like a 75% coil tap apparently. And so when you turn down, when you coil tap, you get what's closer to a single coil sound. But it also has treble bleeds on the volume controls. So by turning down, I'm not losing the top end. And typically I don't like treble bleeds, because what I find is that if you turn down the volume, what you're really turning down is the treble staying where it is, but the bass particularly is getting less, because something's got to turn down, right, as you turn down the volume. And I find that you just end up with a thinner sound. But that can be a real advantage too, right? So if you have like a really thick sound like I just had a minute ago, as you turn down, it gets cleaner and sparklier and brighter, right? Which for the Queen stuff is super useful. Anything in particular you want to hear? If you're just joining me, please like the video. That's super helpful. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play another song for you. So if you haven't liked it already, please do. If there's anything you want me to play, anything you want me to answer, if I can, I will. What's the meaning of life? To play guitar, right? I'm going to play another track. Let's put one on. This is one I found the other day. It says John Scofield Funky Blues Guitar Backing Track in B flat. I think by John Scofield it just means like a groove type blues. It's not actually a John Scofield tune, but this is by Jam Tracks channel. I'm going to play that. Yeah, I quite like that sound. The Fat Telecaster sound. It's good fun. Here we go. So you should be hearing the backing track. If you're not hearing it, let me know. Yeah, so that's a fun track to play over. As I said, that's Jam Tracks channel. That says John Schofield, Funky Blues, guitar, backing track and B flat. I just found it. I typed in fusion backing track to see what would happen. Because really, that's what I consider myself most of the time is I'm a fusion guitar player, right? And I kind of have this thing about the whole fusion thing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of in some ways seen as a dirty word, isn't it, when you say the word fusion? It's sort of, some people conjure up these more rock guitar player ideas in their mind that really have no jazz thing in their playing, and they think that that's jazz fusion, right? But it isn't. It's just rock guitar played out, you know what I mean? To me, it's like jazz fusion really should be a fusion of jazz and rock, or jazz and funk, or jazz and whatever, but it's got to have that jazz element. If I don't hear jazz language and phrasing and swing in some kind of ways, it just becomes something else. Not necessarily bad, but don't call it that. In the same way, I don't really like the term jazz either. I hate it when people call me a jazz musician. Yeah, I know that's kind of dumb, but to me, it's like as soon as you say you're a jazz musician, people have an idea of what you do before you've played a note. Right? They picture a bunch of old guys in the corner with their cheese, with a hat like mine, wearing a waistcoat and a silly tie, and playing bebop. You know, nothing wrong with that. It's really great, especially if it's done well. That can be amazing. But that isn't what I do. So then, you know, I remember Oz Noise saying it's jazz. It just doesn't sound like it. That's kind of cool, right? That's kind of how I see it. The fusion mixed, Steve-O says, the fusion mixed with other stuff sounded good. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, right? It's like, I mean, as I mentioned before, I was born in 1978, so I grew up, I was a child of the 80s and a teenager in the 90s, and then, of course, 2000s and all that kind of thing. So it's a melting pot, my musical world. You know, I mean, my gig at the moment is We Will Rock You. We're playing all Queen music, Brian May stuff. So it's pretty much classic rock kind of vibe, right? My gig, as soon as this one is finished over, the very first gig I'll do is with a blues harmonica player, and we'll be playing a bunch of shuffles and swing tunes and some kind of rumba type feels, like the Robin Ford rumba type things, and he sings a bunch Chicago blues. He does a couple of train kind of things. Couldn't be more different from the We Will Rock You gig, right? Wellington Jazz Festival, I got a double drummer gig, do my 2-drummer thing with keys and guitar. Got Stan Bicknell coming down from Tauranga, and I've got Darren Mathiasen, both amazing, and then Leo, you know, love Leo's playing, great musician too. So we'll be playing funk music, but improvised funk music. So to me, it's as much a jazz gig as it is anything else. So we never talk about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Sorry, you said a Tuck and Paddy song. Yes, yeah, of course I've heard Tuck Andrews. He's amazing. Incredible guitar player. I don't really know any Tuck and Paddy songs, to be honest. I've kind of just listened to them, and I love what they do. And I think Tuck Andrews is amazing. The thing I like about him is probably not what most people like, right? Most people kind of will probably see him and go, "Wow, it's amazing that he's playing bass lines, chords, and the whole lot." And it is, but to me, it's like the thing that I find amazing about Tuck Andrews is like his groove. You hear him play and it just feels fantastic. But, you know, I kind of did do some solo guitar stuff. Really what you're talking about is solo guitar, right? You know, there might be some singing over it, but then solos is back to solo guitar. And I kind of did do some solo guitar stuff for a while, you know. And a couple of things I found useful. It's easier to play without a pick, because then essentially that can be your bass line and that can be your chord. It's the wrong kind of sound for that. I'd rather have a thicker sound, but let's get a bit more volume. Let's see if I can make this work. There we go. That's the sound I'm more happy with. So fingerstyle, right, this can be your bass line and this can be your chord. This is kind of what I do a lot with singers. And sometimes not even with the bass line. The question always comes, what do you do when it comes to the time to solo, right? So for me, one of my favorite things to do is We're back into grooving. Alright, play some sort of stop, so you sort of, hey Jeffrey, yeah, like you're kind of getting into accompanying for yourself, right? And that's a lot of what I hear with Tuck Andrus. What he does is like essentially accompanying for himself and then accompanying the singer. Do you know any rags? No, not really. No, it's not something I've kind of delved into much. To me, it feels more like a piano player thing. I mean, I definitely played a lot of kind of bluesy type stuff like that, but not so much, no. I mean, I already do a lot of things, right? So it's sort of, I remember a friend of mine saying, "Oh man, I really want to put a group together and do some Brazilian stuff." And he goes, you should spend some more time on the Brazilian thing, and then I'll give you the gig. And I was like, man, I already do like a lot of funk gigs, a lot of blues gigs, a lot of rock gigs, sometimes soul R&B stuff. I do classical music. I mean, I got enough on my plate already, and I can play some Brazilian stuff, but I'm no specialist. I think that's what he was looking for, is me to kind of become a specialist at that music. And like, there's only so many hours in the day, dude. You know. But I get his frustration. There's not really anyone here who did do that, as far as he saw. There are people that play that music, but not really particularly great, if I'm honest. Play a jazz tune. What about All the Things You Are? That's a fun tune. I like this tune. This is the Learn Jazz Standards track, which, if you don't know that channel, it's a good one. Go and subscribe to it. Learn Jazz Standards. Oh, looks like I'm not subscribed. I should have been. Now I am. Learn Jazz Standards. All the Things You Are. I'm sure I was subscribed to that. Anyway, I'm going to play All the Things You Are on a Telecaster, because why not? Find a jazz tone. That'll do. Alright, let's get some that sound. Needs more volume. How's that for a manual DJ fade? Manual DJ fade. Shows I can't do more than one thing at once. I'm going to have to go in a minute, folks. I have a show to do this afternoon. It's another date for We Will Rock You. But I thought I'd jump on here and do this a little earlier in the day than I usually do. That was All the Things You Are. Great tune. Kind of a challenging tune. There's a lot of chords in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 36 chords, right? Now, granted, A minor happens in there more than once and stuff happen more than once. It's not 36 different chords, but 36 chords. It's a lot to remember, right? How do you remember something like that? You know, the way I do it, don't remember it. That's the key, right? Trying to remember all that, it's just kind of crazy. And what happens if you have to play it in another key? Now you're screwed. It's all right, so don't remember. I just think of it as, like if we're in D flat, it goes 3, 6, 2, hang on, what key are we in? Sorry, if we're in A flat, first key is A flat. So we go 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, and then it goes up a semitone, minor 2, 5 into the major, and then does the exact same thing. So 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, so same sequence. So I don't have to remember it. I know one sequence, and then I does the same sequence in the new key, right? And then 2, 5, 1, up a step, 2, 5, 1, and then down a semitone, 2, 5, 1 into the major, and then links back to the original key with a 5 chord, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, same sequence to its dominant, and then 3, 6, or tritone sub, which is what I usually play, and then 2, 5, 1, right? And then we link back. So to me, it's like if you start thinking that way about it, then it becomes much easier. Anyway, I'm going to have to split people. Thank you so much for joining me today. I got to go and play a show. It's that one of those days, show days, Sunday at 4 o'clock. But I will be back with more of my regular videos tomorrow. I'm planning on doing a Robin Ford kind of breakdown in the next few days if I get time to. I kind of been checking out a bit of his playing again, and there's some things I'd like to talk about, things I think I could share. So yeah, look out for that. See you soon. Cheers.